Excellent. And in traditional fashion, I'm going to start sharing the screen for the agenda. There you go. I'm assuming everyone can see it. Is that right? Excellent. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to call to order SFSS Council meeting Wednesday, September 13th at 4:38 p.m. Start off with territorial acknowledgement. Respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Kapsi nations. Now, unceded territories means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and we are currently situated on occupied territories. Let's now move on to roll call. Do we have archaeology in the meeting? Someone else join in. No archaeology? Unfortunate. Do we have Bachelor of Environments? Student Union.
Hi guys, my name's Tiana, she, her pronouns, and all my access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Behavioral neuroscience, they mentioned regrets. Do we have biology, Student Union? Biology?
No.
Yes, you Counselor ain't in the chat either. All right, biomedical physiology.
Hi everyone, my name is Jovan, he, him, and all the access needs are met.
Thank you very much. Do we have cognitive science? Cognitive science does not seem to be here. Do we have computing science?
Hi, my name is Mabel. Pronouns are she, her. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. Data science?
Hi, my name's Jennifer, she, her, and all my access needs are met. Thank you.
Fantastic. Earth science? Earth science? We do not seem to have earth science. All right, moving on to economics.
Hi everyone, my name's Rafet. My pronouns are he and him, and all my access needs are met today.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you didn't put it in the chat.
Right. I also see Eden inside the chat. Thank you very much for that as well. Do you have engineering science?
Hello, everyone. My name's Tony. Pronouns are he, him. All my access needs are met.
Excellent, Joe. Masterfully done. Do we have environmental science?
Hi, everyone. I'm Grayson Bark. He, him pronouns, and all my access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you kindly. Ava Wood also puts her intro into the chat that's marked down. Do we have Film Student Union?
No.
We do not. How about gender, sexuality, and women's studies?
Yes, we do. Hi, my name is Ashley. They, she, he pronouns, and all my access needs are met for today.
Excellent. Geography Student Union?
Hi, yes, sorry. Having some internet issues. My name is Eric, pronouns he, him. All my access needs are met.
Wonderful. Thank you. Do we have health science undergraduate? Yes, we do. Intro is in the chat. Do we have indigenous studies?
Hi, Evan Adjitola, he, him, pronouns, and my access needs are met. Thanks.
Nice. Interactive arts and technology? Interactive arts and technology seems to be absent. But what about International Studies Student Association?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Sebastian Mujica. My pronouns are he, him, and all my access needs are met.
Very, very nice. Thank you. Do we have mechatronics systems engineering? Mechatronics? Dang, no, we lost mechatronics. What about molecular biology? MBB?
Hi, my name is Sam. My pronouns are he, him, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you very much. I was about to say, I just saw you right outside my office window. How about psychology student union? Psychology. Not inside. Oh, I just entered the meeting room. Regrets for psychology? I don't recall seeing it. But now we will cautiously mark it as absent. What about science undergraduate? Science undergraduate.
In the chat.
Nice. Sociology and anthropology. Also inside the chat. Very nice. Software systems. Do we have software systems? Unfortunately, not. How about sustainable energy and engineering? SEE counselor.
Hello? Hello everyone. I am Andrew. My pronouns are he and him, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you very much. All right, constituency groups, DNA counselor. Disability and neurodiversity. Not quite here at the moment. How about out on campus collective? OOC counselor. You see them inside the meeting. Unfortunate. How about students of Caribbean and African ancestry? SOCA counselor.
Hi, my name is Yai. Access needs are met. Pronouns she, her.
Wonderful. Residence Hall Association.
Hey everyone, EM is, and my name is Emmanuel. All my access needs are met.
Very cool. Teaching Support Staff Union. TSSU counselor. Very, very, very good. Okay, hello everyone. I'm Liam. I am here. Just checking. Do we have VP Finance?
I don't know. Not in the room or the Zoom room, but yes, in the physical room.
All right, never mind that. Moving on. VP University Academic Affairs.
Hi, Thomas Smith here, VP UAA. Access needs are met. He, him pronouns.
Wonderful. VP External. External is not quite here. I'd like to suspend roll call. Someone's got a. Never mind. We're doing it after attendance. My bad. My bad. VP Equity.
Hi everyone, my name is Priyanka. My pronouns are she, her, hers. Access needs are met. For VP External, she is in the meeting, but I believe she's in class, so she can't talk right now.
Wonderful. VP Events. IO.
Hi guys, shut up. Hi guys, name's I pronounce he and his access needs are met. I'm joining from Thomas's system.
Very, very good. All right. Noted. Is the facilities manager here? Have we seen him inside the meeting? I don't think so. All right, then temporary operations organizer.
Hi, Cindy here, pronouns she, her, hers. Access needs are met.
Very good. Policy, research, community affairs. He also not quite here. What about admin assistants? Yes, yes, they are here inside the chat. Okay, consent agenda. Be it resolved to adopt the consent agenda by unanimous consent.
The list down. The list in chat.
My bad. Yeah, we'll stall off consent agenda. Henry, does your list earlier still apply?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you had a list earlier inside of the Zoom chat.
Oh yeah, I know because I'm the newly appointed Criminology Student Association Council representative, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm here.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Yes, criminology told us about this beforehand. This is good to know. Thank you very much, though. We are very glad to have you. As far as this, yes, we were on to this one. Resolving to adopt the consent agenda by unanimous consent. This includes the ratification of regrets, not just for VP Finance, but also to ratify the regrets of all the other counselors who have submitted regrets for this meeting. Let's see if I can pull that document up. Yes, the regrets for Emilio da Silva, history, Nava from philosophy counselor, political science counselor, SFP, IRG counselor. There's oh, social sciences, Rajdev is also submitting regrets, and last but not least, VP Finance. I must go back to sharing that. Oh, and I've also been notified that, right, behavioral neuroscience, I mentioned this earlier, has also submitted regrets. Very important to mention that. Hello, external. Okay. With these extra regrets, you also put down as an amendment, or is it just a ratification and we move to votes?
You can do a friendly amendment on the consent agenda.
What's the difference between a friendly amendment and a regular amendment?
Don't vote on.
All right, then. I believe should be implied. Voting time. Seeking unanimous consent to adopt the consent agenda, and I am seeing no dissent. That means this carries as friendly amended. Okay, now it's time for the adoption of the agenda, the very important part. I move. Would anyone care to second?
Gender studies?
Gender studies, seconds. Be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. I have a few motions that is imperative that we add onto the items today. First of all, an item from old business. I move this one to the very first item. This takes quite a bit of importance. I will put this one right here. I'll also include the brackets of old business to make this one extra clear. Here you go. It's inside of the chat. Basically, this motion is just in place to we were meant to approve the community guidelines before. Sadly, this got postponed. We are dealing with it now. As far as new business item, a very, very important new business item here. I'll post this right. Crap, it complains that the message is too long. I will post it in 2 parts. Here you go. Mainly as per our society's bylaws, sadly, the VP internal position cannot remain vacant. We will be going through a council election to find a suitable candidate to fill the position. It's the main intention. Let's take a look at the other amendment that I must add in. Called formal appointment of the SFSS IEC. Very good. And last thing, no, those are all the motions. Small announcement to put on, which is called council development sessions. Pretty straightforward. And then finally, a presentation amendment. That's unlike our regular practices. They will be presenting at around 6 because of the nature of the important motions that we might be dealing with. Presentation. I will get the proper name up.
Chat.
Reusables. Thank you, Abby. Okay. Does anyone else have any amendments? Because I'm done.
You need to amend your amendments.
Pardon?
You need a mover and seconder for your amendments, and then
True. I one thing at a time. I would like to move to add all of these amendments onto the agenda in a bunch. May I get a seconder?
gender studies. No, give it to earth science.
Oh, earth science seconds. Thank you very much. Seeking unanimous consent to adopt these amendments. There is no dissent. These have been added. Very nice. Now, would anyone else have any amendments today? Now is the time to do so. No, I do not think so. If that's the case, be it resolved to adopt the agenda as amended. I would like to seek unanimous consent. I'm also seeing no dissent. So this agenda is carried as amended. With that being said, let's get straight to old business. The first old business item as SFSS community guidelines. I'll read it out loud for sakes. Whereas the executive committee appointed the SFSS community guidelines as attached for a probationary interim period of 3 months in March 2023, whereas the interim period expired and guidelines or policies for respectful and safe use of the sub currently do not exist, whereas these organizations were referred to council for an operational and organizational evaluation and a potential extension at the end of the interim period, whereas the guidelines were reviewed and updated by staff recently to keep the sub safe and welcoming for all, be it resolved that the council approve and implement the SFSS community guidelines as attached. And when they mention as attached, it means that they say, oh, I forgot to put the file of the guidelines in the chat. From what I remember, we've seen them before, but in case anyone had not been here, I downloaded it earlier. I'll just drag it inside, like so. For anyone to see, should they be curious about details. Okay, I forgot to move in second. I move. Would anyone care to second?
Health science.
Beg pardon, was that health science? Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Health science, seconds. I am now seeking unanimous consent. And I am getting no dissent. That means this motion passes unanimously. Well done. There's a second old business item, 10.1, Diwali event. It is right here, submitted by VP Events and Student Affairs. Would anyone like to move?
University.
University moves. Well done. Would anyone like to second?
ISSU seconds.
ISSU seconds. Whereas the Diwali event is on November 3rd, 2023, and members of the student body are involved in the logistics and organizations of it to happen, be it resolved to allocate 20,500 from the large events budget, as 2,500 was previously approved in an exec meeting. Are there any discussions about this? I don't think so. We've been through the presentation, the horrible, horrible presentation. Talked about details when it was time. I believe most of us should have caught up. Any further? No, I don't think so. All right, we're moving straight to voting. I'm seeking unanimous consent. Hello, Sasa counselor. No worries. You're just in the nick of time. We're doing business as usual. I'm seeking unanimous consent. And I'm getting no dissent. This carries unanimously. Well done. 10.2 time. This is the right. It seems like the committee elections almost never end. Vancouver campus committee elections. I move. Would anyone care to second?
ISSU second.
Thank you. ISSU second. So whereas there are 2 vacant seats available in the Vancouver campus committee, be it resolved to elect councilors X and Y to serve on the VCC for the rest of the council term. In traditional fashion, I believe we are also very, very, very familiar with the. Oh, look, we already got nominations for it. Let me write this down. VCC, we got VP UAA, Thomas. Thank you.
Yes.
Well done. I haven't done the calls yet. First call for nominations. Oh, Abby, you got a list?
Yeah, sorry. I can't nominate myself or anyone else, but I just wanted to point out while I am in SFU Vancouver right now, Vancouver campus tends not to get the love of the SFSS. So if people want to start giving it some love, that would be spectacular.
That was a phenomenal presentation. I will now send out a second round for nomination. Third call for nominations. Empty once again. That's strike 3. So be it resolved now to strike X and Y on motion 10.2 and replace it with VP UAA Thomas and nobody else to serve on the VCC for the rest of the council term. Seeking unanimous consent. There's no dissent. This has been amended. So now be it resolved to elect VP UAA Thomas Louet to serve on the VCC for the rest of the council term. Once again, seeking unanimous consent. Well, once again, there's no dissent. Thomas, you're inside Vancouver campus. Very, very nice. Similar process for motion 10.3, Space Oversight Committee election. So whereas there's one councillor seat available in the Space Oversight Committee, be it resolved to elect Councillor Z to serve on Space Oversight Committee for the rest of the council term. Round 1 call for nominations. That's blank. Second call for nominations. A second blank. A third call for nominations. Nancy, you got a list? Oh, you're in class right now. Thank you, Ashley. I believe they should be filled in on this at the moment. I'm reasonably certain everyone here should be part of the committee by now.
I would hope so. But just in case.
True. Nancy would like to nominate herself. That's fantastic. Was I on third call for nominations? Dang nabbit, third call for nominations. Once again, none. So be it resolved to strike Z on motion 10.3, replace it with VP External Nancy to serve on SPOC for the rest of the council term. Unanimous consent, everyone. There is no dissent. So now, hereby be it resolved to elect VP External Nancy to serve on the Space Oversight Committee for the rest of the council term. Once again, seeking unanimous consent. And there's no dissent. This carries as amended. Well done. Now there is the 10.4 Finance and Administrative Services Committee. I move. Would anyone like to second?
Gender studies.
Gender Studies seconds. Whereas there are 2 vacant seats available in the Finance and Administrative Services Committee composition to have a new counselor in this committee, be it resolved to elect X and X counselors, this might be a typo, to serve on FASC for the rest of the council term. This will be my first call for nominations. Thomas, you got a list?
Hello, I would like to nominate myself for the FASC committee.
I got you down. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
This council is composed of a few main characters and everybody else. Second call for nominations. Damn, Abby, you want to nominate yourself? You can't do that. I'm just kidding. This is my third call for nominations. Third call? Yikes, that's a blank. Be it resolved to strike X and X on motion 10.4, replace it with VP UAA Thomas to serve on the Finance and Administrative Services Committee for the rest of the council term. Can we nominate random people? Oh, first of all, sorry, seeking unanimous consent. There is no dissent. This amendment has been adopted. Can we nominate random people until someone joins? Yes, we absolutely can. Furthermore, if these positions are not filled, there's a good chance that these elections are going to be coming back to haunt us later on. It's somewhat of a vicious cycle. Oh, I could open this up again and nominate someone else. Or we could keep on nominating other people. Abby, you got a list.
Well, ask and you shall receive. We have a brand new counselor, so there's no way he can have a committee yet. I nominate Henry from CSA. Sorry, Henry.
Henry from CSA, what's your response?
I'm pretty new, so I don't fully understand what's going on.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
We have SFSS has a bunch of committees, and right now we're trying to fill vacant spots inside every committee. And we are currently trying to make an election for the Finance and Administrative Services Committee, which is, well, it's they handle financing details inside the SFSS. That's the main idea to know. Yeah. And it is a wonderful committee full of wonderful opportunities to participate in the logistics of what keeps this student society barely functioning. Now that I've sold the position to you so well, you've officially been recommended to nominate yourself for this committee by Abby. Would you like to accept?
I'll accept.
Excellent. Be it resolved to strike X and X counselors and replace them with VPUAA and also CSA counselor Henry to serve on FASC for the rest of the council term. Seeking unanimous consent, everyone. And there is no dissent. So now be it resolved to officially elect VPUAA count and the CSA counselor to serve on FASC for the rest of the council term. Once again, unanimous consent. Once again, there is no dissent. Thank you kindly, everybody. With our teamwork, we have managed to fill up the Finance and Administrative Services Committee for now. Wonderful, wonderful. Wait a second. These are the SFSS community guidelines.
Yeah, you moved them. Oh, wait, why are they not there twice?
That is quite strange. Anyway, I must have made a mistake because I thought this was not on the agenda. That's why I amended it on. But seeing how we has already dealt with mine, what the next thing would be to strike this thing off?
Honestly, it's not necessary. Basically,
No.
your amendment was just to move it up.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you're right. Anyway, what's important to note, this has already been approved. We can move past. Move past to what? Move past to new business. This is the relatively exciting one, which is the appointment of VP Internal and Organizational Development. It's way up in the chat, but I will read it aloud. Whereas the current Vice President Internal position with our organization has become vacant due to exceptional circumstances, whereas the Society's Act states that any vacant officer position must be filled to maintain the effective functioning of our organization. Whereas given the specific circumstances, the Executive Committee has advised that an internal appointment to fill the vacant position is the most suitable course of action. Whereas SFSS bylaw 14(2)A states that in the event of a vacancy on the Executive Committee, Council may appoint a temporary replacement to the vacant office from amongst the members of Council, other than members of the Executive Committee, to undertake the duties befalling the vacant office until the office is filled by way of a by-election. Be it resolved to appoint Councillor X, receiving the majority of votes cast, as Vice President Internal and Organizational Development, starting immediately until such time a by-election is concluded or until the end of the term on April 30th, 2024. Be it further resolved that this motion is enacted to ensure the prompt and proper election of our new Vice President Internal in strict accordance with our organization's bylaw. I am anticipating certain questions. Before we get to that, though, I move. Would anyone care to second? No?
University.
VP University seconds. Thank you very much. And does anyone? We are now ready for questions or points of information. Thomas, do you have a list?
Yes, I don't know if this should have been POI, but I wanted to ask. So it says here, one second, let me get the okay, that council may appoint a temporary replacement to the vacant office from amongst the members of council or the members of the executive committee that undertake the duties following the vacant office until the office is filled by way of by-election. So if is a new VP internal going to be VP internal until April, or until, are we going to have a by-election in the coming months?
Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but we will, from what I understand, we're going to have a by-election alongside the coming months. That's going to be before April 30th of next year. And when the by-election comes, we will be holding an election for the VP internal once again. Sindhu, you got a list?
I think Ashley was before me.
Oh, my bad. Ashley, your list
I
first.
just had a quick point. I would like to remind everybody of your in-camera responsibilities and that what happened in camera stays in camera. Thank you very much.
Oh, that is a very good point. Sindhu, your list.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ashley. Given that this was a specific situation, we're just looking at the feasibility of a by-election. So our bylaws call for a by-election in the event of a vacancy with certain parameters. So we need to appoint a counselor in the interim. So whether or not we do the bylaw, we do need someone in that role now. So what this is kind of asking is to have someone in that role until we have that by-election, and depending on that feasibility, if that does not happen, then the alternative is that that counselor would be in the role until the end of April 30th. So the end of the executive term.
I see. Thank you. Any other further lists, questions, comments, concerns? Now's the time to say them. Well, if there is none, I'd say we could be able to get this going. And by that, I mean we will hold a small election right here now in our traditional committee fashion. So I'll be doing 3 calls for nominations, essentially. And then, yes, you fellas should be familiar with the rest. You want to nominate yourself, someone, then will be the time. Without further ado, I'm sending out a first call for any nominations. Ashley, you got a list?
Yeah, I would like to nominate myself for the position.
I will write that down. Thank you. Yeah, that should conclude first call. I'm sending out a second call for nominations. This, by the way, goes for any counselor in here that wishes to take this role. Seeing none, I'm sending out a third call for nominations. Once again, a blank. Then this wouldn't exactly be an election. Be it resolved to strike Counselor X on this new business motion and replace it with Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies Counselor, Ashley Yes, so seeking unanimous consent. I am getting no
Yeah.
dissent. Oh, beg pardon?
List,
Thomas, you got a list?
yes. I express dissent.
Your dissent is noted. Thank you. All right, then. Does anyone else have dissents? No, I am seeing none. This would pass. This adoption passes by majority. So, as for the actual appointment, be it resolved to appoint gender, sexuality, women's studies counselor. Beg pardon?
You didn't get a mover and seconder for the event.
Oh, I am so sorry. You're completely right. Yeah, I've been told I rushed too much. I forgot to get a mover and seconder. Yikes. I will fill that out right now. Of course I move, but would anyone care to second?
ISSU seconds.
ISSU. Thank you very much. Hold on. Okay. My bad. It's time for the actual appointment. Be it resolved to appoint gender, sexuality, and women's studies counselor Ashley to perform as the VP internal of an organizational development until the next by-election or until the end of the council term. Seeking unanimous consent. And there is no dissent. I sure hope I am following proper policies here. This one passes by majority. There. Yeah. Should have another amendment. Ashley, you have a list?
Yeah, I'd like to move to suspend the rules to add on another motion, essentially the same as the first, except since I was the vice chair of council and am now no longer, I would like to add a motion titled, hold on, give me a second. Titled vice chair appointment, whereas the vice chair of council position is vacant, be it resolved to elect Councillor X for the remainder of the 2023-2024 council year. I will move that.
And I will second that. Very well. And would this item be happening right afterwards, as in we will be doing it right now?
Yes, to do it right now.
Very good, very good, very good. And in traditional fashion, it's going to be 3 calls for nominations, but this time, instead of VP internal, it will be for vice chair. As the current vice chair position would be vacant, as Ashley was taking it up beforehand. Ashley?
Yeah, I would like to nominate the MDB Councillor Sam.
Very, very good, very good. I'll put a list into the chat. Myself, I would also like to nominate MEB Councillor Sam for it. Sam, what's your response?
I accept the nomination.
Very good.
That's your say.
Oh, sorry, beg pardon?
Yes.
Somebody said something inside the meeting, but I'm not sure I heard it properly.
Yeah, I think it might have been an accident.
All right then. Anyway, I have marked down MBB counselor. I don't think I went through the 3 calls yet. First call for nominations. Wait a second. Hold on. I'm not making the same mistake again. Have I done a mover and seconder?
No.
No?
Yeah, Abby says he doesn't think so either.
No, you don't think so? Yikes. All right, all right, all right.
Oh,
We must take care of that right away. Ashley says she moves, and President seconds. That is very important to take care of. I was on second call for nominations. Do we have any other possible candidates for vice chair? Well, that's a blank. How about third call for nominations? That is again a third blank. So be it resolved to strike, which letter did you use?
I think it's an X.
Counselor X on the amended vice chair election motion and replace it with MBB Counselor Sam to be serving as our SFSS Council's vice chair for the rest of the council term. Seeking unanimous consent. And I'm getting no dissent. So now for the official motion, be it resolved to elect MBB Counselor Sam to be our vice chair for the rest of the council term. And seeking unanimous consent. There is no dissent. This passes unanimously. Thank you kindly, everybody. I'm just trying to see where we are on the schedule at the moment, because through all the amendments, right. The internal and vice chair elections have been taken care of. We can go to our next new business item, which is going to be, if I'm not wrong, formal appointment of the SFSS IEC. I will read it aloud. Whereas an IEC must be appointed to ensure that there is a proper transition, for whereas bylaw 1317C states that all members of the Independent Electoral Commission shall be elected by 2/3 majority vote of council, whereas the IEC consists of 1 chief commissioner and 4 electoral commissioners, whereas the relevant hiring committee has already hired these commissioners, but they were never formally appointed by council, be it resolved to appoint Nadia Ahmed as the chief commissioner of the IEC effective immediately, with a term ending on April 30th, 2024. Be it further resolved to appoint Noor Iman, Maya Lomolino, I apologize for pronunciation in advance, and Vaibhav Babar as IEC commissioners effective immediately, with the term ending on April 30th, 2024. That is all. And before I sadly forget, I move this motion. Would anybody care to second?
MBB.
MBB seconds. Thank you very much. Do we have any do you have any lists at all at the moment? I'd like to give some time for that. No, I don't think so. Okay, then let's move straight to voting. And I'm going to be seeking unanimous consent. And I am also seeing no dissents. With that being said, the formal appointments of the SFSS IEC will pass unanimously, much more than 2/3. Actually, could you check if the presenters are inside the meeting at the moment?
I don't believe so.
Hello?
Go ahead, Abby.
Yes, Abby?
Yeah, I can text them to come a little earlier if you want. I think I told them, I kind of figured it might go a little fast, so I called them in for 5:45. But I can text them, try and come earlier.
Oh, thank you. That'd be very convenient. Yes.
Should we take a short break while we wait?
A short break. Oh. Well, is everyone all right with that? Because after the presentation, we're going to have small announcements regarding council development sessions, and that should wrap up this meeting nicely. Went by a bit faster than I expected. Yes, as you counselor says yes.
If we do the Q&A now. That's true.
What do we think? Ashley, you got a list?
We could perhaps move the Q&A up now and do that right now, and then we don't have to do it after presentations. Saves us that much time. While we wait.
Like even, I'm also indifferent to both. All right then. Let's move a motion to amend the rules, move Q&A upwards, so we deal with Q&A sections right now.
Sure, I'll move that.
Then President will second that, seeking unanimous consent to do the Q&A session right now. And there is no dissent for it. With that being said, does anyone have any Q&As at the moment? The absence of noise. Nope. Sasu, counselor.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
I had a good question, like kind of logistical question. So last council meeting, I was appointed for two committees, right? And I just wanted to know, like, I don't know how to contact them. I don't know how to like get a hold of them for them to attend meetings and participate in the committee. So I wanted to know, like, what can I do for that?
Oh, I see. As currently, if you are inside the committee, as long as you've been elected inside, you should have received an email from me around sometime today. Basically, this is just asking for a when to meet information, because I like to set up our first committee meetings around, and then we can figure out the logistics individually like that. But what's important right now is that you should have received an email from me asking when to meet. This is just so we can plan out a meeting or figure out a suitable meeting time. I did this for various, like all the committees.
Okay, sounds good. As of now, I haven't received an email from you, but that's okay. Like, yeah, I can wait to see what happens.
Well, I will look into that, but hold on, you got one. Oh,
I didn't.
never mind. This is someone else. Out of curiosity, could you tell me the two committees you are a part of?
Yeah, so give me 1 second. Like, give me 1 second. I know one, but I forgot the one of them. It was last week, so give me 1 second.
Oh yeah, of course. Meanwhile, we can take Sam's list.
I was just gonna remind everyone to double check spam as well for emails. I don't expect it to go into your spam. I know when I received the email for FASC, it didn't, but there's always a possibility, just to be on the safe side.
Got it. Thank you for that. So I'm just asking so I can double check if I need to resend any committee emails. That's mainly it. Oh, BPK.
You know what? I'll send you an email later if that's okay.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
But thank you for notifying me though. BPK counselor, you got a list?
Hi, yes, Liam. So you said you were sending out emails for all the committees. Did you all send them like out at once?
Oh, yes. It should be one mass email to all the committees. It contains a section of when to meet links. And so this is just so if you are like if you are part of multiple committees, like more than one at the same time, it's a bit convenient for you because you have multiple when to meet links to work with, right?
Right.
Same
Okay.
email.
Okay, thank you.
Good questions. Any other Q&As? Well, with that being said, we could wrap up Q&A and move straight to the very exciting presentation we have lined up. I believe that we are comfortable with doing that. With that being said, fellas, please welcome Anastasia from reusables.com for their presentation. Hold on, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment. Anastasia, before we begin, do you have screen sharing privileges?
Let me check that. Yeah, it looks like I can share this.
Nice. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Okay. Whenever you are ready, and I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much, everyone, for having me today. It sounds like you have a lot of important stuff to discuss, so I'll try to keep this really short and hopefully exciting. But as Liam said, my name is Anastasia Kiko. I'm one of the 2 co-founders at a local company called reusables.com. Reusables really was born 2 years ago with a big vision to eliminate single-use packaging waste. So think about all the takeout containers, coffee cups. I think they're extremely convenient and make our lives easier, but unfortunately, majority of them end up in landfills and polluting our oceans. So my co-founder Jason and I set up on a big mission to change that. So you all might be familiar with the problem of plastic waste, but just to put it in perspective, scientists actually estimate there will be more plastics in the oceans than fish by year 2050. And that's a scary reality that none of us want to get to. So for a long time, we really thought that recycling can help us get out of this mess. And unfortunately, in reality, only 5 to 9% of plastic packaging in North America actually ends up recycled, where a majority of it ends up in landfills and polluting our waterways, unfortunately. The good news is that governments are taking a stance and they're banning problematic single-use items. In Canada specifically, certain problematic takeout containers, such as the black plastic ones, will be completely banned as of December of this year. And locally, the province of BC is taking an even more aggressive stance on a lot of the compostable items, so they will be banned later this year as well. Now, I think from your work, you also know that students are demanding a better future, and they're demanding that their institution, the council, take climate action. So at reusables.com, we initially started working in the Vancouver area. So we're partnering with restaurants, cafes, grocery stores, and over the last years kind of settled on university and corporate campuses as our target client. So what do we really focus on? We make sure that reuse is seamless. Essentially, we provide a solution and a platform for different food service providers, whether it's a university cafeteria, a Starbucks, Tim Hortons on campus, to easily replace their single-use packaging with reusables. Essentially, the part of the value chain where we sit in is connecting the physical environment and enabling it transition to be more sustainable. So later this year, or later this semester actually, in just a couple of weeks, we'll be live at Mackenzie Cafe. Initially, the launch was scheduled for beginning of semester, September 6th, but unfortunately they had some technical difficulties, so we're just waiting to launch until October 2nd. But what that means is that majority of packaging at Mackenzie Cafe will be reusable. So what that means is if you're getting your sandwich or you're getting your stir fry to go, it will come in a metal container. It's completely free to use as long as you return it to one of our smart bins within 3 days. So what it will look like for students is at checkout, you have that container, and when you're paying for your food with a card, you'll tap the card on a reusables reader. The container will get assigned to your account. So the key part there is that we're keeping students accountable in case someone decides to keep the container, steals it, forgets it, breaks it. Unfortunately, we have to make sure that those assets do come back and continue being reused. After you're done with the food, you'll be able to drop off the container at one of the smart return bins. To begin with, we're just placing 5 of them in the academic quadrangle building, and then if it goes well, we'll be able to have a lot more spots on campus using reusables, as well as more return locations. You see the app, but to clarify, the use of the app will be completely optional at SFU. You can download it to see more locations in Vancouver in case some of you travel to Vancouver a lot, as well as monitor your impact and earn points, but you'll be able to borrow those containers completely for free with just your credit card or debit card. So to tell you a bit more about our business, we've launched only 2 years ago, but have been really proud to have worked with some very impressive brands and names. We have worked with a few Disney sets here in Vancouver. We're also really proud to have partnered with Uber Eats to make a more seamless experience in the cities. And most importantly, we have already replaced more than 150,000 single-use containers with reusables. So we're really focusing on driving that impact, and we think that universities have a great use case for that. The other thing I'll highlight is that we have over 98% return rate. So in fact, most of those containers do come back to us, and we'd love to keep that return rate as high as possible at SFU as well. So the interesting part about our platform is that every single time a container is reused, it's tracked, and we're able to have very interesting insights on the container usage. The important part is that with every reuse, you're avoiding carbon emissions, as well as diverting that packaging waste from entering the landfills. So we actually did a smaller installation pilot with SFU last year. That was in the old dining commons before the new dining commons was finished. And we're just getting feedback from SFU students. Most of them were meal plan in terms of how do they like the system. So the good news is that we were able to engage over 100 students over 3 months, which I know is not a great, huge number, but it was something. And 99.9% actually of those containers did come back. We also received a Net Promoter Score of 87.5. So in short terms, that means that students like the system, they like the feeling of not having waste, and they really applauded the university for implementing something like this. In terms of impact, yeah, over the 3 months, we were able to replace more than 2,500 single-use containers with reusables, and that translated to over 125 kilograms of waste avoided and more than 500 kilograms of CO2 avoided as well. So it really puts it in perspective that even with a small scale pilot, we can achieve very tangible results. And then think about the whole university with 40,000 students transitioning to reusables as well. So you may be familiar with similar systems. I believe you have Mockshare at some of the places on campus, but I want to emphasize that the approach reusables is taking is different. First of all, we primarily use stainless steel as a material instead of plastic. When you try one of the containers at Mackenzie, you will see that the containers actually keep food warmer for longer. And also there is no issues of kind of like plastic toxins leaching into hot food. We also hope to get to all outlets on campus and not just keep this kind of like small project isolated to just Mackenzie. Our vision is really to work with SFU and Triples, if you know them, to make this really campus-wide and make it as convenient as possible. So imagine really everywhere you see a garbage bin or a recycling bin on campus today, there could be a reusables bin right next to it as well. And then something we're working on in the background is offering rewards and incentives to our users as well. So our model really allows for rewarding people who are doing the right thing. And I want to tell you a bit more about my amazing team. So the 2 co-founders, Jason and myself, we share about 10 years of experience in food technology. We met working for a company called Spot.ca. Some of you may know it. They were born in Vancouver as well. And then we have key team members supporting on the growth, product, technology, and sales side. And we have recently added a marketing lady as well. And we're supported by some really amazing advisors who have been able to help us a lot on this journey. So my ask for you today is after October 2nd, please come to Mackenzie, please check it out. Tell your friends about it, and let me know if you have any feedbacks, if you have any thoughts of how to make it better. We're really here to make a big impact on SFU, and we think that the student body you have is here for it. So thank you for having me here today, and happy to take any questions now. I see a hand. Counselor Dan Arias.
Do I have to list or no? Can you hear me?
Oh, I apologize. Your mic's a bit unclear at the moment.
Oh, let me just sorry.
If necessary, you could put your question inside the chat.
Oh, okay.
I think it's
Do I
good
put it
now.
inside the chat?
Oh, never mind. Your mic cleared up all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah. It was my headphones. They're just not great. Yeah. My question was, how do you like? Do you expect students to wash the container before they drop it off at the location, or is like, do you have a system for the containers to be washed or something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we're really happy to be partnering with Chartwell's group to do all the cleaning as well as the collection. So to answer your first question in terms of do we expect students to clean the containers, would love them to. I don't think it's realistic. So the bare minimum, we just ask that if there's any food left over, just put those scraps in the compost, dispose of any kind of napkins, cutlery elsewhere, and then drop in just the container into reusables bin. I don't think we expect you to go and rinse it in the washroom. The one thing I'll say is that the smart return bins, which you'll see, maybe I can actually show you a video, but essentially they only open their door when you scan the tag on the container. So in that sense, hopefully it will be protected from any trash entering the bins because you can't just open and put anything in it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for your question.
BPK, you got a list?
Hi, yeah. So you said when we collect it, we tap our card also on the reader as well. So how does the container get linked to us? Because when we tap the card, does the container also get tapped or something? And when we return it to the bin, do we just drop it off? And then when it's collected, you guys know it's from us, so we don't get charged?
Yeah, exactly. So I'll find a video for you as well to kind of show that system in action. But at the high level, you're exactly right. So when you're checking out the container, you tap the card, you tap the container, the two get linked. And then when you drop off the container, the bin just scans the container, and it knows that if container, this is container A. Container A was last checked out to Liam. Therefore, Liam has returned it, so we shouldn't charge Liam. Does make sense?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
I'll show you a quick video actually of this is an older version of our system, but it's similar to what you can expect. So you see the bin, you just tap and it opens and you can drop off the container. And similarly, you tap the card and then the staff will tap the container assigned to that card, and that's how the linking really happens.
Very nice, very nice.
Any more questions?
ISSU, you are next on the list, I believe.
So I'm sorry if this, are we selling student subscriptions for this then? Or is it like linked to their student card and they only get charged if they don't return their cutlery, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's completely free. So technically, even people who are not students, I know you don't have many of them, but for example, if a general public comes, they can use this as well. The only requirement is they have a payment card. So anyone with a credit card can use the service. And so to answer your question, there is kind of no subscription to the student. It's completely free as long as they return. And there's kind of like no integration between student IDs and our system at this point.
And like, if so, like two things on that, like how much is a student being charged if they don't return their container? And also, is this going to work for students that don't have credit cards? Because I know some of them are like 17 and might not have access to stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a great point about kind of like the credit cards. It also does work with debit cards. So that's an option. And unfortunately, you kind of have to have one or the other for now, but we're actively working on some kind of like token or deposit system as well to accommodate those who are primarily paying with cash. On that, my understanding is that most kind of like younger students live in residences, and then they mostly go to dining commons, so they wouldn't necessarily go to Mackenzie. Is it a fair assumption or not necessarily?
Yeah, that's quite fair, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for your questions, Evan.
Yeah. Do you have any further lists, questions, comments, concerns? No, I don't suppose there is. Chat's empty as well. With that being said, I guess that is a wrap. Thank you so much, Reusables, for the presentation. Thank you kindly.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Please check it out. Please let me know how to improve it, and we'll look forward to working with you and all the students at SFU.
Thank you very much. The presentation was actually quite nicely done. I will share my screen once again. Back to the agenda. There you go. I believe we have one small announcement yet to make. Council development sessions, which will resume as of September 20th, 2023, which is exactly a week from now. When they do, please show up to development sessions in person. The execs, they get lonely sometimes. And more importantly, though, every once in a while they buy food, so you're feeding yourself for free. And that is the main takeaway selling pitch point I would like to bring out to you. That's basically all I have left to say. Anyone else have any lists on this topic? Anyone else? Thomas, Priyanka, Jad, Nancy, who's in the class right now? Well, if it stays empty, I'm guessing that is a wrap then.
Yeah, don't have anything to say. You can wrap the meeting.
Nice. Once again, sessions resuming September 20th, 2023. With that being said, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to assume that we are officially done, because there are no further attachments and there are no further items, and we carried every single thing inside the amendments and our agenda. With that being said, I would move to our adjournment. You know I move. Would anyone care to second?
University.
University second. So be it resolved to adjourn this meeting at 5:47 p.m. I'm going to be seeking unanimous consent. And I'm also getting no dissent. With that being said, I will stop sharing because we are officially adjourned. Thank you kindly, everyone. Thank you very much, and you have a wonderful night.